American classroom is changing. They have been changing for years, and as teachers, we have not kept up. Our classrooms are now full of students with different cultural backgrounds. It's time for us to take a stand and make a change. According to Brown and Chu, 1 in 4 children in the United States is now from an immigrant family, most frequently from Mexico or Central America. With classes averaging 26 students, roughly 6 of those students will be from an immigrant family. That is 6 students that we have to reach in a different way. These students may be facing discrimination. Brown and Chu define this as negative behaviors towards someone because of their group membership. We teachers need to start with our pedagogy, more specifically, equity pedagogy. Banks and Banks define equity pedagogy as teaching strategies and classroom environments that help students from diverse racial, ethnic, and cultural groups attain the knowledge, skills, and attitudes needed to function effectively within and help create and perpetuate a just, humane, and democratic society. Equity pedagogy creates an environment in which students can acquire, interrogate, and produce knowledge and envision new possibilities for the use of knowledge for societal changes. I know we all try to have a constructivist class. If students are to be involved in the production of knowledge, they need a class schedule that allows for these activities. Equity pedagogy is tightly interwound with content integration. We must spend time planning this into our lessons. At times, it might happen naturally, and other times, it might need to be planned. The Banks and Banks article tells us that implementing equity pedagogy requires teachers to understand how students perceive social interactions with their teachers, what they learn from them, and the extent to which students perceive their teachers as caring persons. Equity pedagogy has important implications for assessment. Teachers who embrace equity pedagogy frequently give students detailed feedback on poorly prepared assignments and ask for students to revisit their work. Portfolio assessments also give students an opportunity to demonstrate their growth over time and for teachers to give students ongoing support and encouragement. We try to teach with a multidisciplinary mindset. I personally love to use books and children's literature whenever possible. D is for Dragon Dance by Ying Chang Kompenstein is a fun alphabet book for K through 2nd grade. Scholastic introduces the book as From Firecrackers to Noodles, From Red Envelopes to the Zodiac. Young readers are introduced to the exciting traditions of the Chinese New Year in this accessible and visually stunning homage to the holiday. Each subject in this alphabet book is introduced with a simple rhyme. This book will be great to use for studying the Chinese culture and the Chinese New Year. Esperanza Rising by Pam Ryan is a great book for students in grades 3 through 7. Scholastic introduces this book as Esperanza thought she'd always live with her family on their ranch in Mexico. She'd always have fancy dresses, a beautiful home, and servants. But a sudden tragedy forces Esperanza and Mama to flee to California during the Great Depression and settle into a camp for Mexican farm workers. Esperanza isn't ready for the hard labor, financial struggles, or lack of acceptance she now faces. When their new life is threatened, Esperanza must find a way to rise above her difficult circumstances. Mama's life and her own depend on it. This will be a great book to not only use for Hispanic history, but also for the history of the Great Depression. The most important thing in all of this is how we can integrate this new information into our classrooms. Different cultures have different holidays. Giving students the chance to experience rituals and culinary from different cultures make the educational experience much more rich and meaningful. Also, having guests in the classroom is always a joy for the teacher and the students. Our classroom should always be open to parents and guardians, and if they are willing to share some of their life adventures with the class, I think we should do our best to accommodate that interest, even if that means planning a cultural event and making a day of guest speakers. Using the jigsaw strategy is a great way to get students working together. Jigsawing is a cooperative learning strategy. Jigsaw.org lists 10 easy steps to jigsaw. Step 1. Divide students into 5 or 6 person jigsaw groups. Step 2. Appoint one student from each group as the leader. Step 3. Divide the day's lesson into 5 or 6 segments. This number will depend on the number of students in each jigsaw group. Step 4. Assign each student to learn one segment. Step 5. Give students time to read over their segment at least twice and become familiar with it. Step 6. Form temporary expert groups by having one student from each jigsaw group join another student assigned to the same segment. 7. Bring the students back to their jigsaw group. Step 8. Ask each student to present her or his segment to the group. Step 9. Float from group to group, observing the process. And finally, Step 10. At the end of this session, give a quiz on the material covered. For more details on this process, the website is listed on your screen now. As our classrooms change, we must change with them. Integrating multiculturalism into the classroom will not only benefit our students, but benefit us as well.